You are here because something within you already knows the truth, that you are the operant power. In this lecture, we will not chase riches. We will become the consciousness of wealth itself. Assume the feeling of being wealthy. Now, do not wait for the money to come. Live in the end. Wealth is a state of consciousness. Enter it, embody it, and the world will rearrange itself to reflect your assumption.
Imagine waking up tomorrow to discover your bank account overflowing with money. What would that feel like? That surge of relief, that sense of possibility, that freedom to live life on your terms. This isn't just a daydream. For thousands who've discovered Neville Goddard's hidden technique, it's become reality. While others struggle for years with visualizations and affirmations that barely work, there's a reason why Neville's students often manifest wealth, seemingly overnight. Today, I'm revealing the exact method Neville taught in his private lectures, a technique many law of attraction teachers completely miss. At the core of Neville Goddard's teaching lies a profound truth. Manifestation isn't about merely visualizing what you want. It's about fundamentally shifting your consciousness to embody the state of already having received it. This distinction is crucial and often misunderstood by contemporary manifestation teachers. Neville called this practice living from the end. Unlike conventional visualization, where you imagine getting something in the future, Neville taught entering a mental and emotional state as if your desire has already been fulfilled. This isn't pretending or wishing, it's experiencing the psychological reality of your desire now. When applying this to financial abundance, Neville's approach isn't about visualizing money coming to you someday. Instead, it's about mentally occupying the state of being financially secure and abundant right now, in this moment. Neville emphasized repeatedly that the feeling associated with having your desire fulfilled is the true secret to manifestation. Feeling is the secret, he would say. When it comes to financial prosperity, what matters isn't the mental picture of money, but the feeling of security, freedom, and abundance that comes with it. This feeling must be so real and so present that your nervous system responds as if what you desire is already yours. Your body doesn't distinguish between an intensely imagined experience and a physical one. Both produce similar neurological responses. This is why merely thinking about wealth isn't enough. You must generate the genuine feeling of wealth. Perhaps the most overlooked aspect of Neville's teaching is the importance of your mental diet, the ongoing conversation you have with yourself about money. Most people maintain contradictory inner dialogues. They affirm abundance while simultaneously worrying about bills or doubting their financial future. Neville taught that these inner conversations must be carefully monitored and deliberately shaped. When thoughts of lack, limitation, or financial worry arise, they must be immediately replaced with the feeling and inner dialogue of abundance. This isn't denial of current circumstances, but a faithful adherence to the desired state, regardless of external evidence. This mental discipline requires practice. Each time you catch yourself thinking or speaking from a state of financial lack, pause and ask, how would I think and speak if I were already financially abundant? Then shift immediately to that state of consciousness. Neville provided a specific technique for reprogramming the subconscious mind during the drowsy state before sleep. This theta wave state is when the critical, analytical mind relaxes its guard, allowing new patterns to be established in the subconscious. The technique is simple but powerful. As you lie in bed preparing for sleep, close your eyes and relax your body completely. Imagine a scene that implies your financial desires have already been fulfilled. Perhaps it's checking your bank balance and seeing an abundant sum, or perhaps it's the feeling of writing checks for bills with complete ease and confidence. Make this scene as vivid and real as possible. Experience the feelings, hear the sounds, notice the details. Most importantly, capture and maintain the feeling of financial freedom and abundance. Drift off to sleep holding this scene and feeling, allowing it to be impressed upon your subconscious mind. This practice, done consistently, begins to reprogram your deeply held beliefs about money and your relationship with it. Another crucial component of Neville's teaching is what he called entering the Sabbath, a mental state of complete rest regarding your desire. This means ceasing all effort, worry, and striving related to manifesting money. When you truly live from the end, you no longer expend energy trying to make your desire happen because in your consciousness, it has already happened. This psychological rest signals to your subconscious mind that the work is complete, allowing the manifestation process to unfold without interference. This requires genuine faith, not blind hope that things will improve, but the mature spiritual understanding that consciousness is the only reality and that the world must conform to your established state of consciousness. Neville explained that once you've successfully shifted your consciousness, the physical manifestation occurs through what he called a bridge of incidents, a series of seemingly unrelated events that lead to the fulfillment of your desire. These incidents might include new job opportunities, unexpected refunds, inspired business ideas, or reconnections with people who can help your financial situation. The key is to trust this process without trying to control how your financial increase will come about. Your responsibility is to maintain the state of consciousness of already being financially abundant. The how belongs to a higher intelligence that orchestrates the bridge of incidents in ways you couldn't have planned. Perhaps the greatest challenge in applying Neville's technique is persistence. Initial excitement often gives way to doubt when immediate results aren't seen. Neville taught that manifestation failures almost always stem from abandoning the desired state too soon. Financial manifestation requires maintaining your new state of consciousness despite any contrary evidence in your physical reality. This is where most people falter. They check their bank account, see no change, and revert to their old state of consciousness. True mastery comes from maintaining your chosen state, regardless of appearances, trusting that the physical must eventually conform to the established pattern in consciousness. Neville stressed that external action must match your internal state. If you've truly assumed the consciousness of financial abundance, you'll naturally act in ways consistent with that state. This doesn't mean reckless spending, but rather making decisions from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. Your speech, posture, and decisions will naturally align with your new state of consciousness. This alignment between inner and outer expression accelerates manifestation and prevents the internal conflict that often blocks results. Understanding and applying these principles consistently can transform your financial reality just as it has for countless students of Neville's work. The key lies not in magical thinking, but in the profound psychological and spiritual shift that occurs when you truly live from the end, feeling now what you desire to experience in the future. What makes Neville's approach different is something he called "the feeling is the secret." But most people misunderstand what this actually means. The hidden secret isn't just visualizing wealth, it's living from the end as if it's already happened. Here's how it works in 3 simple steps. First, quiet your mind completely, not through force, but through gentle relaxation. Neville taught that the state between waking and sleeping, what he called the drowsy state, is where manifestation happens fastest. Second, experience your desire as already fulfilled. Don't beg the universe for money. Instead, feel the relief, security, and freedom that comes after receiving wealth. This is crucial. Your body must physically experience the emotional state of already having what you want. Third, and this is what most people miss, you must persist in this feeling until it becomes your dominant state. Neville called this living in the wish fulfilled. When your nervous system accepts this new reality as fact, the outer world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. Let me share a story about one of Neville's students. Sarah was drowning in debt when she discovered this technique. Rather than focusing on paying bills, she spent 10 minutes each night feeling the specific sensation of financial freedom. She didn't just visualize money, she felt the physical relief in her body of all financial pressure being gone. Within 3 weeks, a forgotten investment returned tenfold. Within 6 weeks, she received a job offer doubling her salary. The universe rearranged itself to match her inner feeling state. Modern neuroscience has begun to validate what Neville understood intuitively. Our brains have what scientists call a reticular activating system, RSA, a bundle of nerves that filters information, deciding what enters our conscious awareness and what doesn't. When you intensely feel as though something is already true, your RS begins seeking evidence to support this belief. This explains why after buying a new car, you suddenly see that model everywhere. They were always there, but now your brain notices them because they've become relevant to your reality. The same principle applies to financial abundance. When you truly feel wealthy, your brain begins noticing opportunities it previously filtered out. Ideas come more easily, connections form more naturally, doors open that were invisible before. But unlike conventional law of attraction teachings that focus on future outcomes, Neville's approach emphasizes present emotional states. This distinction is crucial. The universe doesn't respond to what you want, it responds to who you are being right now. Neville discovered that the hypnagogic state, the drowsy transition between wakefulness and sleep, is particularly powerful for imprinting new patterns on the subconscious mind. During this state, brainwaves slow from beta to alpha and then theta, creating an ideal condition for reprogramming deeply held beliefs. In this relaxed state, the critical, analytical mind steps aside, allowing direct access to the subconscious. This is significant because the subconscious doesn't distinguish between imagined experiences and actual ones. To your subconscious mind, a vividly imagined state of wealth, when coupled with genuine emotion, is accepted as reality. To access this state effectively, lie comfortably in bed as you're falling asleep. Allow your body to relax completely. As your mind drifts, gently, without effort, introduce the feeling of financial abundance. Don't force detailed visualizations. Focus instead on the feeling of relief, security, and freedom that accompanies financial abundance. The key is maintaining this feeling as you drift into sleep. Your last conscious thought becomes particularly powerful in programming your subconscious. This is why Neville advised his students to sleep in the assumption of their wish fulfilled. Many manifestation techniques fail because they treat visualization as a temporary exercise, something you do for 15 minutes before returning to your regular thought patterns. Neville's approach is far more comprehensive. He taught that true manifestation occurs when your new assumption becomes your predominant state, not just during meditation, but throughout your day. This requires mental discipline and consistent self-observation. Pay attention to your habitual thoughts about money. When you catch yourself worrying about finances or feeling lack, gently shift back into the feeling of abundance. Don't fight the negative thoughts. Simply replace them with the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Over time, this practice rewires your neural pathways. What once required conscious effort becomes your default state. Your entire perception shifts, and with it, your experience of reality. Neville emphasized the importance of sensory detail in effective manifestation. It's not enough to have a vague notion of wealth. You must experience it with sensory richness. What would financial abundance actually feel like in your body? Perhaps it's a lightness in your chest, relaxed shoulders, deeper breathing, or a slight smile that comes naturally. How would you stand and move if financial worry were completely absent from your life? What would you hear yourself saying about money? How would you interact with others? The more sensory detail you include, the more real your subconscious accepts the experience as being. This multi-sensory approach creates a coherent pattern that your brain recognizes as reality rather than fantasy. Neville provided a simple test to determine if you've truly assumed your desire as fact. If circumstances were to contradict your assumption, would you be surprised? If you genuinely feel financially abundant, receiving an unexpected bill would seem strange, a curious anomaly rather than confirmation of your financial struggles. This surprise is evidence that your new assumption has taken root. This test reveals the difference between intellectual understanding and embodied knowing. Many people can intellectually affirm abundance while emotionally expecting lack. True manifestation occurs when your emotional expectation aligns with your desire. As your assumption of wealth becomes your dominant state, you'll notice subtle changes in your behavior. Without conscious effort, you'll begin making different decisions. Your posture might change. Your voice might carry different qualities. You might find yourself naturally drawn to new environments and people. These changes aren't forced. They emerge naturally from your new state of consciousness, and they send powerful signals to others about who you are becoming. People who have successfully manifested financial abundance often report that opportunities seem to find them. Job offers appeared unexpectedly. Business partnerships formed naturally. Investments performed better than anticipated. These aren't coincidences. They're the natural result of your realigned state of being. The universe mirrors back to you who you've become. Neville described a phenomenon he called the bridge of incidents, the series of seemingly unrelated events that lead to the manifestation of your desire. This bridge often appears in unexpected ways that your logical mind couldn't have planned. For instance, a casual conversation might lead to a business opportunity. A book might fall from a shelf containing exactly the information you need. A friend might introduce you to someone who becomes a key connection in your financial journey. Your responsibility isn't to figure out how your financial increase will come. Your job is simply to maintain the feeling of the wish fulfilled, allowing infinite intelligence to arrange the perfect bridge of incidents. What makes Neville's approach so powerful is that it releases you from dependence on external circumstances. Your sense of abundance no longer hinges on your bank balance, it precedes it. This creates a profound psychological freedom. Rather than waiting for financial circumstances to improve before you can feel better, you choose your emotional state now. This emotional sovereignty is perhaps the greatest gift of Neville's teaching. And paradoxically, this inner freedom often accelerates material manifestation. When you no longer need money to feel secure and abundant, you make better financial decisions. You operate from inspiration rather than desperation. Your creative faculties function at a higher level. The world responds not to your desires, but to your state of being. When you consistently embody the feeling of abundance, regardless of external circumstances, financial increase becomes the natural reflection of who you've become. Now here's the truly revolutionary part of Neville's teaching that changes everything. This isn't about tricking the universe into giving you money. It's about waking up to the truth that you are the operant power. As Neville said, "You are already that which you seek. Your consciousness is the only reality. Everything else is an effect." When you truly grasp this, manifestation becomes instant because you're no longer trying to get something from outside yourself. You're simply expressing what you already are. Tonight, before sleep, try this powerful technique. Feel the specific emotion of financial abundance as your current reality. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now. Let your entire body experience the relief and joy of wealth already possessed. Do this for just 10 minutes before bed for the next 21 days. Watch how quickly your external world transforms to match this new inner state. The secret was never about the technique. It was about you finally recognizing your true power as the creator of your reality. If this video helped you, hit subscribe for more hidden Neville Goddard techniques that transform lives fast. Remember, the feeling is the secret, but only when you understand what that truly means. What separates Neville Goddard from other manifestation teachers is his profound philosophical foundation. While many approach manifestation as a mechanical process of attracting external things, Neville understood it as an awakening to your true nature. At the core of his teaching lies the radical idea that consciousness is the only reality. The material world, with all its apparent solidity, is merely an expression of consciousness, what Neville called an outpicturing of states of consciousness. This isn't merely positive thinking, it's a complete reversal of how we typically understand reality. Rather than seeing ourselves as physical beings trying to manipulate an external world, Neville invites us to recognize ourselves as consciousness-first beings who externalize our dominant states into physical experience. When Neville stated, "You are already that which you seek," he wasn't speaking metaphorically. He meant literally that the wealth, abundance, and freedom you desire already exist within your consciousness. The only reason these qualities aren't reflected in your physical experience is that you're occupying a state of consciousness that doesn't include them. One powerful application of Neville's philosophy is the practice of revision, the conscious rewriting of your personal history with money. Most people carry a financial autobiography filled with struggles, disappointments, and limitation. These memories form the foundation of their current financial state. Neville taught that through revision, you can literally rewrite these memories, not by denying what happened, but by reimagining these past events from your new state of consciousness. For example, if you remember struggling to pay bills, revise that memory. See yourself paying those bills with ease and gratitude. Feel the relief and abundance that would have accompanied that experience. If you recall being passed over for a promotion or raise, revise it to include receiving exactly what you desired, along with the accompanying feelings of validation and prosperity. This isn't wishful thinking or denial. It's a profound psychological process that releases the emotional charge of past financial difficulties, freeing you to embody a new state without contradictory memories pulling you back. Central to Neville's teaching is what he called the I am principle, the recognition that your fundamental identity is pure awareness, pure potential. Everything you add after the words I am shapes your experience of reality. Most people unconsciously affirm limitations throughout their day. I am broke. I am struggling financially. I am unlucky with money. Each of these statements is a creative declaration. Your consciousness accepts these definitions of self and works tirelessly to maintain their consistency in your experience. The revolutionary shift comes when you consciously choose what follows, I am, not as affirmations or positive thinking exercises, but as genuine self-definitions. I am financially secure. I am abundantly provided for. I am the embodiment of prosperity. When spoken from a place of knowing rather than hoping, these declarations carry immense creative power. They're not about changing external circumstances, but recognizing your true nature. While many manifestation teachers focus on the law of attraction, Neville emphasized what he called the law of assumption. The distinction is subtle, but significant. The law of attraction suggests that like attracts like, that your thoughts and feelings magnetize similar circumstances. This implies separation. You hear your desires over there, with some mechanism needed to bring them together. The law of assumption, however, states that what you consciously assume to be true must manifest in your experience, not because it's being attracted from somewhere else, but because assumption shapes how you perceive and interact with reality. When you assume financial abundance as your current reality, you're not attracting money from an external source. You're shifting into a state where abundance is a natural expression of who you are. The difference is profound. An often overlooked aspect of Neville's teaching is what he called pruning, the willingness to let old states of consciousness die completely. Many people try to add abundance to their existing identity instead of allowing the identity of lack to dissolve entirely. Just as a gardener prunes branches to allow for new growth, you must be willing to release old concepts of yourself in relation to money. This can be uncomfortable because identities, even limiting ones, provide a sense of security and familiarity. The transformation Neville described isn't about improving your current financial situation. It's about the death of one state of consciousness and the birth of another. The person struggling with money must die to that identity completely, allowing a new identity to take its place. This explains why so many manifestation attempts fall short. People want their circumstances to change while maintaining the same core identity. True manifestation requires a fundamental shift in who you understand yourself to be. While the technique of falling asleep in the state of your wish fulfilled is powerful, Neville emphasized that techniques themselves aren't the point. They're simply doorways to states of consciousness. Some people find that the drowsy state before sleep works best for embodying new states. Others might access similar states through meditation, physical movement, creative expression, or contemplative prayer. The method matters less than the state it produces. What's essential is entering a state where the analytical mind relaxes its grip, allowing your assumption to sink deeply into the subconscious without resistance. For many, this happens most easily in the transition to sleep, which is why Neville emphasized this particular technique. However you access it, the goal is the same: to so completely embody the feeling of your wish fulfilled that it becomes your psychological reality, regardless of external circumstances. The culmination of Neville's teaching is what he called living from the end, maintaining your desired state not just during visualization sessions but throughout your waking hours. This doesn't mean pretending to be wealthy when you're not. It means identifying so completely with the consciousness of abundance that it becomes your default state. From this state, your perceptions, decisions, and actions naturally align with prosperity. When faced with financial choices or challenges, ask yourself, how would I respond to this situation if I were already financially abundant? Then act from that understanding. Over time, this practice creates a self-reinforcing cycle. Acting from abundance creates more abundant circumstances, which makes it easier to maintain the state of abundance, which in turn creates more abundant circumstances. The ultimate freedom comes when you no longer need external confirmation of your abundance. Your sense of wealth becomes primary. Your financial circumstances become secondary, a reflection rather than a source. As Neville said, change your conception of yourself and you will automatically change the world in which you live. This is the revolutionary understanding that transforms manifestation from a doing to a being, from an acquisition to a recognition of what was always yours. After exploring Neville Goddard's profound teachings about consciousness and manifestation, you might be wondering how to begin integrating these principles into your daily life. The truth is, this wisdom isn't meant to remain theoretical. It's designed to be lived and experienced. Here's how you can start applying these concepts today. I invite you to commit to a simple but powerful 21-day experiment based on Neville's core teachings. Why 21 days? Research suggests this is approximately how long it takes to begin establishing new neural pathways and habits of thought. Each night before sleep, find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Relax your body completely, breathing deeply and slowly. Bring your attention to how financial freedom would feel in your body. Experience the relief, security and expansiveness of abundance as your present reality. Maintain this feeling as you drift into sleep. Remember, this isn't about visualizing future wealth, it's about embodying the feeling of abundance now. Don't focus on the how or specific amounts. Instead, focus entirely on the feeling state. Beyond your nighttime practice, begin monitoring your thoughts and feelings about money throughout your day. Notice when you slip into thoughts of financial worry or limitation. Without judgment, gently shift your awareness to your desired state. Ask yourself, how would I perceive this situation if I were already financially abundant? Make decisions from this state of abundance rather than from fear or lack. Start a simple journal dedicated to recording evidence that your new state is manifesting. Each evening, write down at least 3 things that happened during your day that align with your new state of abundance. These might be obvious financial improvements, but more likely they'll be subtle shifts. Perhaps you felt more generous, made a decision with greater confidence, or noticed an opportunity you might have missed before. Review these entries regularly to reinforce your recognition of the changes occurring. Neville emphasized the importance of surrounding yourself with supportive ideas and people. Find others studying Neville's work through books, online forums, or local groups. Share experiences and insights rather than focusing on techniques. Remember that each person's manifestation journey is unique. What matters is your personal application of these principles. While practice is essential, deepening your theoretical understanding can strengthen your application. Read Neville's original works, particularly The Power of Awareness, Feeling is the Secret, and The Law and the Promise. Listen to recordings of his lectures, many of which are freely available online. Study related philosophical traditions that reinforce the primacy of consciousness. The most important call I can offer isn't to a specific technique, but to a fundamental choice. Will you accept the invitation to recognize yourself as the creative power in your life? This recognition isn't something you achieve once and complete. It's a continuous awakening, a moment-by-moment choice to identify with your true nature rather than with limiting concepts about yourself and your relationship with abundance. What makes Neville's teaching so revolutionary is that it's not ultimately about getting things, it's about remembering who you really are. Financial abundance is simply one expression of this remembering. Begin today, not with striving, but with the quiet recognition of what has always been true. You are the operant power in your life. Everything else is effect. I'd love to hear about your experiences applying these principles. Share your insights, questions, and breakthroughs in the comments below. And if you found value in this exploration of Neville's teachings, please share it with others who might benefit. Remember, the feeling is the secret, but only when you understand what that truly means.